Hi, this is Lisa from Question the Narrative. I am here with Honey Golden on Friday, the 19th of December. Honey, how is everything in Colorado?
Good, but
Yeah.
wild. Wild energy.
So you haven't blown away, you're not flying away anywhere, are you?
No, and the wind wasn't as bad where we live. We had one really bad night with wind.
I got a message from I use this IRA company that doesn't make force that allows you to do commodities. And I got a message when I was looking at my IRA that said that, you know what, we may have a power outage because the winds have been so bad in Colorado, and we're in Louisville, Colorado. Is that place that you know?
I know Amelia, who lives more on the other side of the state. She's had a lot. So if you're near Kansas in Colorado,
Mm.
you're in Dorothy land over
I was
there.
going to
Like
say,
it's
this sounds
really
like the Wizard
happening.
of Oz. And by the way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else, but the more I look back on the things that I've seen before and we've seen associations with, the more I see, that is the story. And the Wizard of Oz was one of the big ones. And you know the
Mhm.
other one? Interstellar, the movie
Oh yeah.
Stellar. Incredible, incredible. So very interesting. But Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore. There's a lot of wind flying around, which is good. But
Oh yeah.
honey, we are on the 19th of December. And do you know what the 19th of December is of this year? Is the day that we are closest to this thing that we've called Three-Eye Atlas. So I think maybe we should talk about that today. First, the first
Yeah.
thing to talk about. So, what are you getting right now that as we are at that point where we're totally closest to Earth, what are you getting from Three-Eye Atlas and what should we need to know right now?
So the words that come in is I can't wait to meet you. So we'll just kind of
You,
see
me, or both
how
of us?
that
No, or all of us.
unfolds. Yeah, all of us.
Yeah.
So another thing is the new moon starts today. So that happens today, the new moon. President Trump is giving some sort of speech today, I just saw.
Ah.
And then Three Eye Atlas is very close today. So I think it could be
Interesting.
a really big and interesting day today.
Yeah, well, that's good. And can't wait to meet you is interesting. Because remember, one thing I asked you about once separately, and this is just, personal that I think it's shared. I had a vision of and a visual that keeps coming back of someone who is an entity that's blue that looks through a window and is like, it's like his eye is like at me and it's like, hi. And you said that it's somebody that, go ahead if you want to share what you said.
I think I said that it's a fractal of you
Yeah, a fractal
and
thing.
they want to like get in touch.
Mhm.
So
Which I thought
that's
was
what I remember.
super interesting. And I kind of feel that, like what you're saying there, that really resonates when you say that. But it's interesting. And then last night, I'll just like give these other little things and see if other people are experiencing this. I had a very vivid dream. First of all, I'm always waking up at like between 2 to 3, 2:30 to 4. And then I had this dream in that lucid stage that I was throwing up. So I thought that was interesting. What could that mean, honey?
Super interesting. So a lot of times when you're being elevated, like your frequency is being elevated, you feel nauseated.
Honey.
And usually that's because there's an ET nearby and they want to talk to you. So either you were being talked to or you were actually on a ship, one or the other.
Oh, that's exciting. Well, we definitely was something because it was very clear about throwing up, and I've been nauseous all, back and forth the past couple of days, and so has my daughter. And my daughter was flying in from San Francisco. We're here in Copenhagen, super close, San Francisco to
Mhm.
Copenhagen, and so we both are having these experiences, and I'm like, yeah, that's okay, kind of a thing. But it sounds like a lot of people are having lots of different physical symptoms and we always talked about how they were part of this ascension symptoms. But right now, we just want to say, like, all of us are experiencing it. I mean, honey, are you hearing about a lot of people? What are you experiencing right now?
The only thing that I had was some sinus stuff, but it
Mhm.
wasn't real extreme.
Mhm.
But so many people have contacted me with stuff that's going on with them and their bodies. And we're clearing out old stuff to make room for this new information that's coming in.
Mm.
And sometimes the new information is landing and pushing the old stuff out. So it's almost like I don't know, a plunger or something, pushing the old information out. And it's almost like a detox.
Mm. Very, very interesting. Well, I just want to share, I think both of us want to share here that there are things that are happening. We are all okay. And this is nothing, we've been talking about this, but the more I know for myself, I relax into it, the
Mhm.
better I am with all of this because there doesn't seem to be, I mean, I'm not dying. I'm not, I also do feel an anxiety and I'm starting now to talk to the anxiety. I'm just like, what is it that you want? And talking to spirit, what is it that I'm supposed to learn from this? What am I releasing and all of that? And when I do that, boom, the anxiety goes away. It's very, very interesting. So
Mhm.
sending that kind of thought to everybody right now as we are all experiencing things and it's very real, but it also is very much something that we can, accept and deal with here. I think.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's good, but relax into it as much as we can. I know, I mean, for some people it may not be ascension symptoms, there may be some other things, but for that, it's really an opportunity. It's an incredible opportunity to look inside and get deeper inside, which is very interesting. Mm. So, honey, anything else from Three Eye Atlas? I mean, do you think what Trump is going to be doing in his speech today has anything to do with this, or is it related to the Epstein files that are supposed to also be released today at 3 p.m. Eastern time?
I feel like they're still waffling a bit, actually. They're still
Hmm.
testing the consciousness. I feel like the Epstein stuff has to be mentioned. So there'll be something about that today, whether it comes from President Trump or somebody else.
Okay, yeah.
Um, but the Three Eye Atlas stuff, I mean, it could bombard out in different ways, or it could come through him. I know that yesterday, I think it was, I don't remember, or I'm not totally sure, but I posted it this morning. NASA is now saying they're releasing disc-shaped satellites today. I think it was today or yesterday they were doing that.
Interesting.
So to me, that is hilarious
Yes.
because they're expecting, they're seeding the consciousness over and over and over. And
Mm.
that also there's another disclosure movie coming out from Spielberg in the summer, but they're just releasing trailer after trailer right
Mm.
now. So that's another thing. Like, are you going to be scared or are you going to be fine with it?
Yeah.
Because it felt like in the trailer even that I saw today, it's like, what do you think that there was another life in the universe? You think this was just for us?
Mm.
Like you
Mhm.
think we're the only ones? So that was interesting.
That's very interesting because
Yeah.
I mean, when you think what are the reasons that you would have like they're disseminating disc-like satellites. That's basically, oh, it's not a UFO, it's a disc. It's what we put out there. It's a satellite.
Satellite. Mm.
Of course, it's a very viable thing. So they're expecting what you're saying is that our governments are expecting that we are going to be seeing ships in the sky. Interesting.
Definitely saw a huge one this morning, over the mountains, and it just sat there
Yeah.
in a huge cloud, for hours. It's probably still out there.
Well, speaking of these clouds, this is very interesting. We have been seeing significant fog in the south of Italy day after day for actually for 6 weeks. And I've been hearing that from other people all over the world that there is so much fog. Can you say, does that have anything to do with ships or what's going on behind this fog?
It does have to do with ships. It's to alleviate hysteria. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm getting. And a lot of it has to do with how aware is the country or the area.
Mm,
So the
mm.
less aware, the more fog.
Well, there you go. The south of Italy was, well, I can't even walk my dog because it's so humid down there. He comes out wet because it's so moist down there. That's interesting.
No.
That's very interesting. So you're saying that there's just, and who is controlling that?
It feels more like the ETs and Mother Earth, like they're tweaking things. It's bigger than the white hats at this point.
Mhm. So this is really to help us ease into it and as carefully as possible because we have many things converging right now. So 3i
Mhm.
Atlas is bombarding energies at us. It's bombarding, we are expanding of consciousness. And I love this one quote that this woman, Diana Cooper, said. And I think she took it from someone else, but she writes about angel experiences for the past 40 years. And she said, knowing is a higher consciousness than seeing. Knowing is a higher consciousness. I thought that was actually beautiful. In a way, what we've been trying to experience here and share with everybody is that knowing it changes this need to show it all the time because we're trying to say you have to have the science to show it, you have to have the physical evidence to show it, we need to see it to believe it. And what she's saying is that we have to know it. Is that what we're looking at right now?
Because the knowing comes from within you. And that's where everything should be coming from. I mean, that's how you create your whole reality. So the knowing is more important than the seeing
Mhm.
out in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here we are, we're leaping 2 dimensions where the rest of the universe is leaping 1 dimension. So we're doing something extraordinary. So we have nausea, we have physical issues, we have a lot of cognitive dissonance about here's how it was, here's what we think it should be, and we're trying to hold on to certain parts of it. And then it's like, well, I know that something's going to change. And the more we're open to that, the more interesting it becomes for us because very interesting stuff. Very interesting.
Mhm.
Well, so we've got Epstein files, but supposedly coming out today. As you say, there could be something. 3i Atlas is a really close visitor to us, so maybe we should wave hi. Maybe my blue guy fractal is in 3i Atlas or around 3i Atlas. I hope you are hi. And we've got also the disclosure or the release of information that has come out just recently today about Russiagate and how Obama was the one who directed the CIA. Is that information, is that going to shift human consciousness, honey?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be one of the things. It'll just depend on what the person cares about,
Mm-hmm.
but it will shift a lot of Democrats,
Yeah.
especially Democrats who have been questioning what's going on, like wondering, it just all feels a little over the top,
Yeah.
maybe, you know? So that'll be really interesting to see. But there's so many things that are shifting, so many different people. Like somebody that's 20 might be like, whatever. I know the government's crap anyway. But somebody that's older, that's like 40 and beyond, and is still hanging on to the Democratic Party and believes in that stuff, it may shift them.
Hmm. Are we
Hmm.
about to see the disintegration of governments? We see right now, in the French are the French farmers are up in Brussels protesting against the EU for the farming restrictions and the issues that we have. We've got issues in the US government's unstable. We've got instability all over right now. What do we see with government control right now?
I see that it's the perfect time for another perspective to be introduced,
Ooh,
which would be
that's
the ET
nice.
perspective.
That's very
Yeah.
interesting. Very, very
Mhm.
interesting. Because there's so much disclosure. And I'll give one sort of other thing about how things are shifting on the financial side and this whole thing about war. And I wanted to talk one thing about sort of where we are in humanity. And I think it's this decision of fear versus love. And it is all about how we're shifting things and the ability to move things. So at the IMF, there's a whistleblower who continues to talk about what are the underpinnings and the shifts that are happening in these meetings that talk about how money is being shifted. So when Russia went into Ukraine in their military action, they had sanctions put against them by the EU, the central bank, the European Central Bank, and they seized over 300 billion of Russian assets during that time. So that was in 2022. Now the EU is deciding because as the EU thinks that they have control over the financials, they're taking those assets and said, all right, we won't keep your principal, but we'll keep the interest. And the interest on that was over 105 billion euros of value. And Russia said, interesting. So you're controlling my money, you're controlling my property, which raises the issue of property ownership in the Western world. So Russia said, okay, you do that. You know what? All these multinational European companies that have business in Russia will just seize their asset. And guess which ones we'll seize first? Oh, we'll just do it for one to one, just to not overreach. We'll just take the 105 billion and we will take it from those countries that voted against us and not the ones who didn't vote against us. So Germany and France are tops on the list. So companies like major automotive companies, major manufacturers will go bankrupt if they lose this money. But countries like Hungary and Poland, who are like, this is not what we should be doing and controlling it, they won't have any impact. So we're shifting away from that US dollar base and the SWIFT system through this. And it's very interesting as we're shifting right now with that. And how do you see that playing out, honey?
Yeah, and they're showing that war is actually about money.
Very good point. Yeah.
And they're basically saying an eye for an eye with the money versus we're not going to lose any human lives. We're
Mm,
just going to take the money from you because you're taking it from us.
yeah. And but Russia, the next thing they didn't say, or it's really clear, is that, oh, our money is not from your system. So we're out of it. So good. You decided to take property. We know we can't trust you with it. We're not playing within that banking system anymore. No more central banking. So I think this is very, very interesting and very positive news. But we're going to see the massive ripples flow through Europe. And most of it's going to be Germany and France who are going on. So what do you see, honey? What's going to happen in Germany and France? Because they're going through massive fiscal issues. What do you see in the next, by the end of the year and the first quarter of next year?
They feel kind of like the first ones to have a government shift. The people will continue to revolt, is what it feels like. They'll continue to be really annoyed with their government. It could get very ugly looking from the outside.
Very
Yeah.
interesting. No, it's very interesting. And this comes to fear to love, and it's interesting. So as you come to different countries, you get perspective. And one of the things that I continue to hear, no matter where I am in Europe, is this constant thing. You say you're American, and I can't hide it because I really speak English. I hope I at least speak that one well. And the first thing they say is like, what do you think of Trump? Oh my goodness, what is Trump doing? All that. It's an immediate reaction. You don't say one word other than I'm American, and then boom. And there's a real fear of what he's doing. And here in Denmark, the fear is that Russia is going to attack Denmark and control them. And I think that's an incredible embodiment of the fear versus love that we
Mhm.
have the decision to make right now. What do you think, honey? What is right now is like, how is that fear being pushed through this one person? It's this one person that triggers it.
Yeah. Well, Trump has been basically like the catalyst for so long, and he's played so many different parts in this movie, and also he has so many different, like, doubles that are playing for him. And I don't think any of them are clones. They're all doubles, like different actors. But he is playing the biggest part in the movie. And he's the catalyst, and he's always been the catalyst ever since he went around the world and got capitulation from all those governments. And he had the full weight of the military behind him when he did that.
Yeah.
So I think it's just playing itself out.
Yeah.
And the money system has to switch. It's time. It's time for people to stop being afraid and
Mhm.
worrying about survival. And
Yes.
once that is fixed, I feel like people are going to then just be like, well, guess what? It's our world. We'll figure it out.
And that is the thing. And I think a lot of us have to just release this money fear that
Mhm.
that's really the issue that we're facing. Because you're right. When you said that, that really resonated with me. It said that it is a war is about money. And it always has been about like, can you get control? Can you make more money? But it's about the system of debt unwinding, and then you have to restart it again. But everything is about money and controlling people. But this is the moment of fear versus love. What are we choosing? So we're each of those have a different timeline. What do you see on the timelines right now, honey?
There's several distinct timelines, and a lot of them are how aware are you and what's your vibration? So if you're vibrating really high, but you're not really aware of what's going on completely, let's say that you're 5, right? But you feel it and your vibration is really high, then you're in the highest timeline. If you are a bridge, say, between the timelines, and you're aware of some of the things and you're ready to have a different kind of life, then you might be in a timeline where you're going to learn more.
Mm.
And you'll still interact with the other timelines because you'll be learning something from them. They'll be sharing something with you. So it would be like if you were going to do a project, it would be the people that are creating the project and the children that are coming in to actually teach, because they're going to teach us so much,
Mm.
or the people that are going to work there, are going to learn there. Like it's those kind of differences in awareness. And eventually they will graduate up to where they're teaching or they're doing something that's much bigger.
Mm.
Because I don't feel like there's going to be any NPCs or people that are fighting against it anymore. I feel like through 2026, all of
Mhm.
that will be shifted out.
Mm. That's really beautiful. That's really, really, really interesting. That's exciting. But you just said something about NPCs in an area that I wanted to talk about a little bit. It's about cloning, because we're getting a lot of disclosure or re-disclosure. Let's repeat it again, because now people are much more aware. And as we hear things multiple times, we get different layers out of it. But cloning seems to be a lot more information has come out about that. And how about there are many who are brand people, the celebrities, the branded people, where they've used cloning and they've taken that and they've made money off of them from the cloning. Is a clone different from an NPC? First, let's ask that question.
Yeah, because they try and transfer the consciousness. But I feel like the DNA is kind of, it's not as good as the natural DNA. Like it doesn't last as long. The clone won't last as long. Then they also have some robots out there. But the clones, I feel like, have been discontinued. Like they're not allowing cloning to go on anymore. I feel like there's still some robots out there that haven't been
Okay.
discovered quite yet because it's been kind of a low priority.
So
Like,
describe what you mean by robots and what would we might know about that.
so there was a concert that Katy Perry was doing, and all of a sudden her eye was like,
Okay.
can't even really do it. Like it would like stick and then open again. And it was so obvious. It was like some kind of weird doll.
And
So
that's different from a clone.
that's a robotic
Hmm.
person. Yeah. A
Interesting.
clone is more natural
Right.
looking, but organically corrupted somehow. It's
Mhm.
like they can't make it perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
And cloning, so so they've stopped cloning. How many clones are still out there right now, do you think?
Um, Not very many. I don't get that there's very many. I feel like they stopped that fairly soon. Like probably they're mostly expired at this point.
Mm.
I
But
feel
could,
like they last 5, 6 years, maybe 7 years, like depending. But it feels like they tried to stop most of those facilities back in 2016, is what I'm getting.
wow. Is cloning related to the Epstein files?
Very. I get it's very. Will it come out immediately? I feel it's kind of buried in there, like with a one-liner somewhere, like it's kind of hidden.
Hmm.
And you have to really look for it and read. I feel like these files are enormous.
Right. Very
Yeah.
interesting. And I'm hearing that the cloning was something that they did and that so um remember the song Bohemian Rhapsody by
Mhm.
Queen? That was a description of selling the soul. That was all about selling the soul and becoming the clone.
Yeah. No, I didn't know that. But
Is that true? And let's ask your higher self.
it is. It's true.
And was he really killed by that he couldn't be controlled anymore? Or his
Yeah.
clones wore it out?
No, I don't get that he had a clone. They couldn't match the voice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some
So
who might
I
have been
think that's part of it is they steal their DNA during that time.
interesting. Other things that we should, so clone is not an NPC. How many NPCs do we still have out there?
Like most of the population is still an
Okay.
NPC. There's so many. Yeah. And a lot of them like disappear. They're a hologram, so they'll go if you ask for them to go, and they'll come back in if you expect them to be there. Yeah.
How many humans do we have now on Earth again?
Um, I get right around the population of the US. So right around 330 million. Like it feels like 33 something.
Mm,
Um, I don't feel like we're gonna have a billion people here. Now the population will grow because a lot of babies are gonna come in,
mm.
you know. People won't be infertile anymore.
So all of
And
these
a lot
things,
of people will choose to have babies even if they're like 80 years old and decide to revert back to being able to have a baby.
this is interesting. So one of the things I just heard is that in Russia, that if you have four children, they will erase your mortgage. You will not have a mortgage. So they're trying
Wow.
to repopulate, aren't they? Where
Yeah.
else are we trying to repopulate? Is it everywhere?
It will become everywhere. I feel like with Italy, like they've just been inviting in different people, from other countries mostly. Um, Europe feels like it's there's much less population than what you see, like tremendously. There's a lot of babies coming in. I mean, I know lots of babies that are part of the new kids, as I would call them. Huge souls that are coming in, and
Wow.
they don't put up with any kind of trauma. They're not interested.
And they don't have the
So,
karma and the trauma. They don't have to heal
mm-mm,
anything. Wow.
no. And they
Very.
won't take on the trauma of the parent. So they'll make the parent work through their trauma
Mm,
just with their energy.
wow.
It's
That's
wild.
exciting.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Mhm.
When do you see the shift of more children coming in?
I feel like after 2027, it will like be a gradual flood of more and more. Another thing that popped in when we were talking about cloning was that if you are missing an arm or a leg or, some sort of appendage or an ear or whatever, that will be disclosed as we've learned how to clone a body part.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it'll be part of the medbed disclosure. I keep going back to that Star Trek where there was like this guy lost his eyes. They were basically like burned out, and they put this thing over his face and it was supposed to regenerate his eyes, and it wouldn't because there was like a dark being present within him. So I mean, I feel like that's right around the corner, those kind of things. Will the med bed be exactly the way that we've been shown over and over again? Probably not. It'll probably be slightly different than that. And there'll be more than one.
Interesting.
And I don't feel like they're going to be like, I don't know. It depends on your consciousness, which one that you can handle, kind of too. So it may be more of a mechanical or it may be more of a holographic, depending on you.
Interesting. That's very,
Mhm.
yeah. And I think we're, so once again, it's seeding the consciousness to accept how these things, because these technologies are way beyond anything that we have in our current level of understanding what has been shown as
Yeah.
physics can be done. But this is very fascinating when you talk about that. Because that when you talk about that you can replace a body part, you can essentially repair any physical damage. The physical damage isn't the problem. That fundamentally shifts fear because our key fear is the fear of death. So
Yeah.
that must shift everything for us. How
Mhm.
exciting to
It
do
is
things
exciting.
and to experience things without the fear of not having the ability to do things anymore. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, honey, this is an incredible day. Wow, very, very interesting. So we are at this precipice. Um, Epstein files, Three Eye Atlas here. Russiagate being talked about. We are really, all of these things are coming back to this issue of our decision of where we want to be in which timeline. Do we want to be in love or do we want to be in fear? And this is the ultimate question and very exciting. So, very, very interesting. So, honey, is there anything else that you'd like to share before we close for today? Because I think this has also been a lot already.
That's a lot. I would just say take it easy today. Like be aware of your own body and really just kind of, feel into yourself today because there will be a lot of things bombarding us today. And don't feel like you have to look at all of them.
And more about knowing versus seeing
Yeah.
might be the theme of the day here right now, the theme of the day. Very
Mhm.
interesting. Well, honey, thank you so much. So it's Friday, December 19th. This is very exciting. We'd like to say thank you very much. Wishing everybody a great day. This is Lisa from Question the Narrative. Ciao.
Guys.
Ciao. Bye.